Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. We're in Rahway, New Jersey now at the headquarters of the New Jersey State Firefighters Mutual Benevolent Association. They had a big win in Trenton this week when the police and firefighters union were given permission to remove their pension from the failing state pension system. The vote in the Senate and the Assembly was overwhelming. But now there are media reports that the governor may veto it after promising he would sign it. And that's what we talked about with the president of the Firefighters Union, Eddie Donnelly. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it. A big win for you in the legislature. I think only 4 votes against it in both the Assembly and the Senate together, which is a huge win. But now, unexpectedly, there's these reports that the governor could veto your bill?
Yeah, we don't see that, Larry. We feel real confident in the conversations that we've had with the governor's office over the years, through his campaign and now as the sitting governor. We had, like you said, 116 of the 120 legislators vote for this. Couple of abstentions, but overwhelming majority. There are some concerns from the treasurer's office that we are going to work with the treasurer Moyo on, and we see no reason why, at the end of the day, this doesn't get signed by our governor. So
the concern for the governor, just so everybody understands, is that they believe that because you have left the pension system with the rest of the pensions, that you would divest, and that would affect everybody, and there'd be some penalties to pay, and it would hurt the system as a whole. That's their problem, right?
Correct. They're worried about the divesting of the funds.
And you're promising you won't do that?
We'll not do that. We have years of actuarial studies, and we've spent tens of thousands of dollars to just find out. We understand that some of the money can't be broken apart or unwound immediately. This could take a decade to unwind everything. But we're fully okay with leaving the monies where they are when they're melded together, and then as they become mature, moving them over to our new board.
Now, he's promised he would do this. He promised to your face that he would separate your pension.
He knew that going in. One of the biggest reasons we were his first supporter. He knew how important this was to the PBA and the FMBA to get this done.
Now, how would you and your membership feel about him if he doesn't sign this?
I'd rather not even think about that, Larry, to be honest with you.
Because it's not a day for threats.
It's not. It's really not. It's a day where we're very happy what just happened last week in the legislature. We know that the treasurer's office has some small concerns that we feel confident are going to be worked out, and we believe that Governor Murphy is going to sign this, and we are going to move on. And in 2 to 3 years, when he's up for re-election again, this is something that he'll be applauding when he sees the returns and how this fund is growing and becoming stronger and more solvent. This will be something that the New Jersey legislature and Governor Murphy can applaud and take a bow for doing.
All right, now we've dealt with the news at hand. Let's back up a little bit.
Sure.
What exactly is going to happen? How does this, if he signs it, how does this play out?
So the day he signs it, there's a 366-day transition period, which is another thing that we're trying to talk to the treasurer's office about. This can't be built overnight. We gave a whole year and a day to transition from the Division of Pensions and Investments to the new created board. We have to create the board. We have to hire investment officers. We have to hire a director of the board. We have to make appointments from firefighters and police officers. The governor's office has to make their appointments. A year and a day to build the system.
And you have investments that are tied to the other pension funds as well. You're not going to touch them until they mature?
When they mature, they'll be allocated in our fund, and when they mature, they'll move over to our fund.
Now let's talk about the big problem that some had with the board.
Sure.
Because you have 7 of the 12 members, either current or retired members, and they believe that is like the fox guarding the hen house, that you shouldn't have that much power because most of the money is taxpayers' money. What do you say to that?
So we've studied, again, for 2 years, and we've seen, as much as I'd like to say that I thought of this, this is happening all over the United States of America. There's funds in states and municipalities all over the U.S. that are doing this, and we find that the best practices are where the stakeholders have the vested interest, that they have the majority on the board. We all realize that it can't be an equal board, because when it's an equal board, nothing gets done. We have the State Health Benefits Design Committee now that's an equal board, and we have deadlocks daily on issues. So there needs to be a majority and a minority. And we feel as the stakeholders, Larry, one of the big things that everyone forgets is we don't get Social Security. So if our pension system goes defunct, we have nothing. We have nothing. Our members are completely invested in the fact that we are going to be true fiduciaries of this pension fund.
No, you want it to succeed, but you don't take too much of the risk. The taxpayers take the risk, don't they?
What about a risk of not having a pension?
Well, you can just ask for more money.
Well, listen, 2000, this fund was funded to 106%. Zero liability, unfunded liability. Today we're funded around 64%. That was done by the political whims of governors and treasurers from both parties over the past 2 decades. We feel that taking that political whim away from our pension system and putting it in the hands of local government, who has no say today. Today, the way the board is constructed, local government doesn't have any say. We're giving them a seat at the table. Labor gets a seat at the table. Both of the investments, both of the stakeholders are going to be there, and we feel that this fund is going to grow. As you
slowly, it sounds like, as you slowly divest yourself from all of the other pensions, how much are you going to hurt them?
The other systems? Mm-hmm. Zero.
How does that work? I mean, if you were a successful fund mm-hmm. and you're pulling yourself away from ones that aren't as successful, don't they become less successful at that point?
We have actuarial proof, and we've given to the legislature time and time again. It's a $90 billion fund complete. We're going to pull out about $27 billion of that. By us pulling that $27 billion out, actuaries have shown it does nothing to hurt the other funds. And we've also checked to make sure that while we pull our $27 billion out, we still are strong enough to do business with any of the big brokers in the country.
Steve Sweeney is the one that promoted this, right? Was he author of this legislation?
Yes.
He was the author of the legislation, and he got it through the Senate. He did his job. He helped to shepherd it through the Assembly as well. So he was a powerful ally of yours.
Absolutely.
Not so much a powerful ally of the governor's, as of right now. I mean, it seems like there is some tension between the two of them. Does that hurt your cause? Does any of that play into the governor now stalling on this?
I don't think so, because Senate President Steve Sweeney has been an advocate for us since day one. We got that. And Governor Murphy is an advocate also. He wants us to get this fund to where we need it to be. He's told us that. It's just a matter of dealing with a couple small tweaks in Treasury, and we're going to get there. So I think that the Senate President and the governor are going to wind up working well together on this, and when the governor signs it, we're going to all come together. It's going to be a good day for New Jersey.
I know you don't want to play too much in the political playground on this, but the fact that they may come together on this may help them relieve some of the tension on some other issues.
Hey, and if the firefighters in New Jersey can help relieve some of that tension, I'm all for it.
But you know that tension exists.
That's what they say.
You're a smart man. So you've been in conversations right now with the administration.
Absolutely.
And you have all the confidence in the world that this is signed.
100%.
100%. So you don't see any scenario where the pension's not going to be removed from the other
There is nothing that we can't work out with the governor's office to get this thing signed.
And have they give you their assurance?
Absolutely.
They have?
Absolutely.
So it's really a dead issue at this point?
I feel it will be signed sooner than later.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thanks, Larry.
That's great.
Good seeing you.
Eddie Donnelly, who is the head of the New Jersey Firefighters Mutual Benevolent Association. When we come back, what to do about New Jersey's housing crisis. Now, if you didn't know we were in a housing crisis, it's probably because you're well off. But for low to middle income families, it's a crisis. And we'll talk about it when Jersey Matters continues.